This is a second short video, okay? So, I don't know if you guys know this, and I don't mean to brag, but I'm a writer. I don't mean to brag, right? Where's my book? Hold on. I don't even have it as a tab. I don't even have it as a tab that's easily accessible to me. I don't mean to brag, but I'm a writer. 460 page. All solid. Solid writing. I edit it myself. Right? 100%. Look at that cover page. I'm an author, guys. You can't deny it. When my friends ask me, what have you been doing with your life? I say, I wrote a book. And they're like, whoa, really? What's the name? And I say, what have you been doing? Anyway, so as a writer, you kind of have to be pedantic with words. So I wanted to know on the scale of on the weight metrics, right? So let me just give you an example. Right? So here we have average weight, right? Now, if you're skinnier than average, you're still healthy, but you would be called skinny, right? You would be skinny. Now, if you're a tall dude, it would sort of branch off and you would be considered lanky. If you're skinnier than skinny and you're tall, you would be lanky. You would look like a hairless Sasquatch with your gorilla arms, right? If you're a dude mostly. I don't know if a woman would be called lanky, right? So, and then if you're skinnier than skinny and you're a woman, there's the small little judicial area called petite. Now, as a dude, hopefully you're a bit like thicker or wider, and you wouldn't be considered petite. If you're considered petite, I pray for you if you do any crimes. But it's like you're smaller in frame and also weight, right? And you're skinnier than skinny. But then if you're skinnier than petite, that enters the area of unhealthy skinniness and also unattractive, right? So anorexic. This would be the dead extreme, right? But before anorexic would be like bones. Like you see her bones, you see her ribs. When she makes a fist at you, ready to punch you, you can see like the ridges of the inner bone between each knuckle. Right, the white of her bones, like fist clenching, Hail Hitler. Right, that's before anorexic. And anorexic, well, that's not something I'm gonna cross right here. So my question as an author, I wanted the word for. Let me pick a different color. I wanted the word for after average. Oh, hey, I could just do that. Okay. So I didn't know if it would be considered curvy because I feel like this word has been tainted. I feel like the word curvy has been tainted and stretched out like a fat woman's panties. Right? Fat. After curvy, I wanted the word between fat and average. That's what I wanted. Would it be buxom? Right? Curvy? What's the phases between fat, which for in this context is ugly? You know what fat is. Fat is unattractive. Like you have to be weird to like fat. That's the definition of fat in this context, right? Just overweight. Well, overweight technically would be between average. Overweight is before fat, right? But like if you're fat, you're overweight. But there is a difference between overweight and fat, right? But then also there's chunky. But this would be more like a dude, but you can also call women chunky. Chunky is between overweight and average, right? So, but I wanted to know the positive one, right? Because petite isn't a negative, skinny isn't negative. I don't know if you would call anyone. You would if a guy was skinny and like Oh, you would call him scrawny, right? A petite guy would also be like scrawny, but I feel like that's between petite and skinny, right? This is pure semantics we're talking here. So would the in between, like, would buxom and I don't know how to pronounce it, buxom and curvy, would they be on the same thing, or would it be buxom and then curvy, and then chunky, right? And then chunky, and then overweight, and then fat, right? I don't know. I wanted to know the answer. So I asked the overlords at Google, and I asked the question: is buxom a compliment? No one asked this question. I am surprised. With all this control over language, why isn't no one asking if buxom is a compliment? Or I didn't want to ask curvy because I told you that they already took the word curvy and now they're using it to describe fat women, right? But those are two different things. They're not the same, right? Just like colors, like you got blue, then you got cyan, and it's like on a scale of like from blue to green. Which color of like cyan or teal? Like teal is more green than it is blue, right? So on that, like that, just like that scale, I wanted to know the attractive positive of after average, and then I tried to ask on Quora. Now, it would not let me ask on Quora. I don't know if I didn't understand it on how to ask, but it kept on referring me to other questions, basically of the similar vein. And then it led me to this. And this is why I'm making this video. So first of all, the question is simply, what do you call a woman who is a little fat? Why? I'm pretty sure he probably asked why just because, there's a word limit, I guess. Or maybe that's the secret to posting the question. You have to ask 2 questions. So look at the first answer. Jesus. You wouldn't call her anything but her name. Bruh. I read that and she put it Heather Spruill. And also a woman, Jesus Christ, like that matters. You wouldn't call her anything but her name. That's so stupid. Obviously, if you're trying to describe someone, like for example, like, oh, have you met Connor? Oh yeah, he's a little fat. Or whatever. He'll say, oh yeah, the fat guy? Oh yeah, that guy. That's how you would describe people. But to like get an understanding of who they are, you would describe their physical or what they've done, stuff like that. So you wouldn't call her anything but her name, as if the answer was overweight, right? He would be like, go up to the woman and be like, hey, overweight. Like, it's just, if you're asking for a descriptor that captures someone who is slightly overweight, there are many from which to choose, each with its own connotations, which are mostly not very positive. It would depend on the person providing the description. Yeah, that's exactly, what you would want to hear as a writer. That's the point of having many different words. It gives the character personality, and then it also provides a reader with a visual, right? Like if I told you, oh, this woman's curvy, the V, just like sexy, would make it, a little bit more sensual, seductive, right? But then if I said, oh, she's fat, you're already having a whole bunch of different imagery of the same woman, right? But calling her fat and calling her curvy, you're getting 2 different images. If you were trying to describe a woman so that a person who had never met her would recognize her and therefore wanted to, there we go, this is what I was just saying, and therefore wanted to include the information about her general body shape type, you could pick the most applicable adjective, preferably one she's adopted herself. I wanna reenact what she's trying to say here. Hey, I need a name. Brittany. Hey, Brittany. Do you consider yourself fat or overweight? And she just pops like a balloon. Why would I go and ask her? If she's fat, she's fat. I mean, I'm not gonna be like, do you consider yourself fat? That's just like along the lines of the gender shit, huh? So you're expecting me to go ask what she does, and this is same thing with guys. So if I go ask a guy, do you consider yourself morbidly obese or just obese? Like, how would you even pop that question? Like, let's see, let's try to be as non-offensive as possible. How would you describe your body? How would you come up with, how would you know what I mean? Like, how would you even bring that for conversation? How would you describe your body? Well, I kind of feel like a rock that just wouldn't move. You know, it's just ridiculous. And look how useless what she's saying is. She's saying you would find the most applicable word. That's what he's asking for. Obviously, that's what he would do. He would find the most applicable adjective, but that's what he's asking for. What the hell? Look, okay, so let's continue on. If you're not really sure, curvy is the least offensive term I can think of. Now, I just want to reiterate that you would not call a fat woman curvy. We need to separate those terms. Two separate terms. Okay? I don't want you getting bad imagery when I describe my female characters. Okay? Just separate those two terms. Just above average in weight. That's it. Not unhealthy. You can be just a bit of average. You're not gonna get a heart attack. You know what I mean? Just a little extra. Just a thin layer of extra in the right areas, right? So, she may not appreciate your description. This is not what he asked for. Look at the question. What do you call a woman who is a little fat? That's not the. You're not answering the question. Look how far it took for to get the answer. She may not appreciate your description. You should be thinking in the spirit of appreciation and respectfulness when you. This woman's fat. Actually, she doesn't look fat, does she? She could be hiding a lot out of frame. Heather sounds like a fat librarian, so. Or just a librarian, to be honest. I'm not gonna lie. Back to her words. When you decide what words are adequate to your purposes, some gals and guys are. Why are guys in parentheses? Oh, yeah, because that's not part of the question, I guess. Are open and okay with size descriptors, and some are not, and might feel shamed. It's touchy. Women and girls, and gents too, I imagine, who are overweight, even a little bit, can experience a lot of fat shaming by both strangers and people who love them. Well-intentioned sometimes, clearly contemptuous sometimes. This bitch is covering. Oh, excuse my language. This woman is covering all her bases. Okay, obviously well-intentioned. Okay, obviously contemptuous. Okay, openly hostility. Those are like the three only possibilities. What would the third one be? Neutral? I guess, yeah, like a doctor would be neutral. So she's only missing one. What's the point of saying these three? That can really stay with you, even if you're now slim or slimmer than you were, but were once overweight. Try not to use terms she wouldn't use herself, and certainly don't use terms that are blatantly disrespectful. Listen, if I'm talking behind someone's back, I'm going to use the words I want. You shouldn't even be gossiping, but if I'm going to gossip, I'm going to call her fat. I'm not going to be respecting her and gossip. Or him. I just call him fat. Actually, honestly, I don't really gossip. I'm not really a mean person. I just try to think about times I've gossiped. I've never, like, called anyone, like, fat, or he's fat. Even, like, joking, I don't think I've even done it. Maybe, yeah, in high school. But, like, at work, I don't think I've really, like... Because I wouldn't say anything to your... behind your back, I wouldn't say to your face. And I don't know, just calling someone fat doesn't really Like, I don't know. It's just like it's not really funny. Yet only if you're creative, right? Like just saying, oh, he's fat. Oh, look at this fat guy. Oh, don't eat all the food, fat guy. Like I don't know, just kind of boring. Maybe it lost its charm because everyone's fat now. I don't know. That's another conversation. But let's continue on. Look at this. Look at Susan L. I thought when I first read like this first line, just to make sure this Heather wasn't the only crazy one. I don't know why I just assumed it was a guy. I kind of just assumed all these were white knights, but whatever. I would call her by her name, as she pumps out her chest, because it's respectful. Also, as if women don't gossip. Also, I don't generally refer to people by their appearance. In particular, things society doesn't view favorably. Wouldn't there be a comma after in particular? I mean, honestly, my grammar's pretty bad, even as a writer. If I were looking for descriptors for a story, yeah, maybe that's what he's doing, like I am. So you come out here trying to be a hero for no one. I could use one of the following. Hopefully she provides the answers. Chubby. Oh, I forgot about chubby. Plump. Okay, that's a good one. Cherubic. Cherubic is kind of weird because it's those like little baby angels. I don't know if I would call a grown woman cherubic. Right? I wouldn't, if I'm trying to paint this sensual picture of her nice body, I would not use the word cherubic because those are little babies. Round, I wouldn't call, like, that could be a general description. Like, you could have a round and be like average. You don't have to necessarily be like overweight. You can have a weird round body and not be overweight. Curvy, right? Full figured. I don't know. Buxom. See, I was trying to do research on this, and I swear to God, you know what I got? I got one incest story. I don't even know. It wasn't even like I couldn't find the answer. The question I asked was, would being called buxom be a compliment? And I got no results. Less kind descriptors would be fat, chunky, husky. Husky, that would be like the healthy overweight for the guy, where like curvy would be for women. I wouldn't husky, like if you would describe a woman husky, I would also imagine her hairy. Right? Husky as a guy would be more of a compliment, right? Because like you're broad. I'm imagining like a lumberjack, like husky, right? So that would be like, obviously describing a woman as this, I imagine a hairy fat woman, but that's what I would imagine. Meaty. Yeah, meaty. Roly-poly. That's a funny one. See, that would be like what... Even calling a fat kid cherubic. I don't know. I don't know if I would call it even a fat kid, because, yeah, again, cherubic is like a baby angel or whatever. I don't know. It would be kind of weird. You're kind of like making the overweight child a little like... It's kind of creepy, to be honest. If any adults were to describe a fat child as cherubic, it would be weird. Stumpy. See, again, words are very descriptive. Stumpy, you would have to be short and fat like a whopper, right? Short and fat. You could be big and fat, like tall and fat, but you wouldn't call a big, like a 6 foot fat obese guy stumpy, because he's 6 feet, but he's like has a belly bigger than your head. Right? So you wouldn't dumpy. Never heard of that one. Thick set. That's a good one. I don't know if that could. You wouldn't necessarily take it as an insult. Corpulence. That's the morbid. Yeah, this is the one. That's bad. This is like that scientific bad. I like this one. Porcine. Oh, another one I would like. Phocine. Phocine. Seals. What's porcine? I've never heard porcine. It's probably not an animal. Porcine. This pig! Right? Yeah. When I saw the pour and I was like, I've seen it before. Pork, right? Flabby. Flabby's a negative one. Flabby, like, I guess you have the weight in the wrong areas of your body. Flabby. Yeah, that's negative. Obese. Right? Obese is like one of the gender neutral negative ones. We're not done yet with these simps. And women can be simps too. A woman who is a little fat is called ma'am, miss, or her name, depending on her preferences. This is seeming very similar to something else. I wish I could add more, but that's all there is to it. Imagine you go to a doctor's office, and the doctor says, Would you prefer to be called morbidly obese? Obese? Or should I just sign your gravestone right now? Look at this. Having dyed hair, a certain amount of fat, etc., doesn't make you not. What the fuck did this guy say about having dyed hair? This Christian Eaglin? You're projecting so hard right now. What does a white person think of? This is the latest question he answered. 2018. He probably died. Uh, I mean, I would answer that too, just because it's such a ridiculous fucking thing to ask. But holy shit. Having dyed hair, a certain amount of fat, doesn't make you not a woman as much as it makes you less or more of anything else besides the spectrum in those categories. Hair is more dyed. I'm sorry, did he delete something about dyed hair? Did he like have something about dyed hair and then he deleted it? What does the dyed hair come from? All stuff a man or trans person can have. I will forgive your mistake as long as you learn from it. What mistake? He's just asking a simple semantic question. And Ajum Ara, probably someone that wouldn't be allowed to speak in her own country. Let's see, Ajum Ajara. Yeah, I don't think you would be allowed to speak in your own country, my friend. Whatever her name is. A blogger, techie, movie, buff, restless, hasty, middle class Indian. Oh, Indian. She would be able to speak in her own country, but she's wearing a hijab. India. That's not Pakistan. I guess I'm just being racist. Oops. Notice all these women are answering. Can I get a dude here? Can a dude rise up, please? Alex Trahan, please tell me you're a guy. Well, learn her name and call her that. If you don't know her name, call her beautiful and or pretty. It's not that hard. Oh my god. Quora, come on. Is this the community you're fostering? None of these people are really even. Only 2 people answered the question, and then they had to like signal that they are good human beings and that they shame you for even asking this fucking question. What? Look at this, Christine Gilbert. I'm not even gonna click because I can see enough from here. I usually call her by her name, unless I don't know it. Oh! In which case, I settle for her name, but you just don't know it! I need to read this again. I usually call her by her name, unless I don't know it. In which I settle for her name or title. I need to read this again, please. I usually call her by her name, unless I don't know it, in which case I settle for her name or title. Why? Because I'm often rude, but I'm not a complete barbarian. I like the how everyone is projecting that he's asking a negative question. Maybe it's a very neutral question. What do you call a woman who is a little fat? It's a very neutral question. It doesn't imply like he's looking for a better word. He or she, right? We don't know who the asker is. He or she is looking for a more negative word. If he wanted to be mean, he would just call her fat. He's asking for a more specific word. If he wanted to be mean, he would just say fat. But he's asking for a specific word. I would just call her by her name. Slightly overweight would be a technical descriptor, but unless you are her doctor or personal trainer, it is none of your business. You see how everyone is projecting their weird like motives on this guy? You see this? They're all projecting a negative motive. Just answer the question, don't assume a motive, and just get on. Why is everyone on, or at least everyone here, I don't know, I don't why is everyone here assuming such a negative thing? If he wanted to be rude or a barbarian, it wouldn't matter if she's slightly overweight. He would just skip that and call her fat. It doesn't make sense. Okay. Oh, here we go. We got Pieter de Groot. Amsterdam. We got an Amsterdam boy here. Is that Dutch? I don't know my geography, so, I'm stupid. I don't really care about anything that's not America. And is Amsterdam Dutch? Pieter de Groot. I'd call her by her name. But seriously, you mean what label I'd put on it, don't you? Don't you, baby, don't you? I'd either choose Chubby or Kirby. Kirby. Depending on where the fat is located. See, okay, he's getting into the details of it, right? So, if it's distributed evenly. Wait, no. Well, I guess this would be only in the belly area, but if she has it all in the right places, it would be curvy, right? But please, don't say such things to a girl ever. Yeah, I'm pretty sure none of these women have. I feel like they've all done it, and they're just trying to alleviate the guilt that they have in their soul. Or maybe I'm just assuming motive, huh? But please, don't say such things to a girl ever. If they know, plus you are insulting them. If they are not, you're insulting them unnecessarily and just plainly lying. How is it lying? Why are you assuming he's lying? What if she actually is just slightly fat? How you're assuming? Look at this useless post. I agree with you. Just answer the question and get the fuck out of my face. A woman. Every answer is a gold mine. Every answer here is a gold mine. A Woman by Bella. Let's see where she's from. Oregon, in the middle of nowhere. A woman. Her weight has nothing to do with her worth and should not even be brought up. What do you call a person trying to find a politically correct way to call a woman fat? A troll. What? Let me calm down. What do you call a person trying to find a politically correct way to call a woman fat? A troll? A troll is a person who finds politically correct ways to call people fat. A troll is a person who finds politically correct ways to call someone fat. And here we are at the last one. This, let's not read it. Let's just make some guesses here. This one is going to be the cherry on top. This one is going to be this is going to be the conclusion, right? Just like you start every essay, college or English essay with, this is important in all of the worlds, right? Or science is important to all human beings. That's how you start your English essay, right? This is going to be the most important conclusions to all of this, right? This is the Whopper. This is the Big Mac. This is the number one right here. You ready? I call her by her name because that's her name. What else would I call her? Well, Janet Parker, if you don't... How do you talk to your clients? Your client comes up to you, Janet, and says, I'm fucking fat right now, and I don't want to be. What's your suggestion? You tell them, you're not fat, you're beautiful. Oh, okay, Janet, I guess I don't need your business then. For a person who's a dietitian, you would think they would be more specific in their terms, right? But no. Does she have a license? She studied food. Are you fat, Janet? Are you fat, Janet? You have a picture of food. You went to study food, and you live in New Jersey. I don't think you belong on the shore, my friend. Or you belong on the other side of the shore. If anyone knows a good forum to ask questions like mine, and you don't get back snooty answers like this, please tell me. I have plenty semantic questions as an aspiring writer and journalist and entrepreneur and gamer and non-binary. I have a lot of questions like these, but I feel like all the writer forums are snooty. I haven't really been to one. That's just my preconception. All right, so to answer the question, what do you call a woman who is a little fat? Heather Spruill.